Someone I know got dumped by a girl a few days ago and asked about how to stop worrying about external factors in your life that you cannot control. Okay, so to start, uh, me and my ex-girlfriend broke up about 4 months ago. And I've realized now that realistically, as much as I wanted to try to control the direction that our relationship was going, I could not. And we hit a point where we both mutually decided that it was likely best to part ways. Now, this was very difficult for me because I felt like I was doing everything in my power to build that relationship. And as much as I tried to force it, it just wouldn't go through. And I feel like this is something that I have found a lot of help in turning to religion for, specifically in knowing that God will close doors for you because there are other doors open that you are missing. And so, oftentimes, a lot of people will turn to God after heartbreaks, and they'll turn to God when they're at their lowest and when they feel like their current situation they cannot control. But I think for me personally, I had actually started getting closer to God while I was in this relationship. And I think that also helped me in making that decision to break things off. I started asking God, if this is right for me, if you want this relationship to continue building, continue leading us to that, or else draw us further apart and show me that it's time for this to break apart and that you have better plans for me. And I kid you not, those prayers were answered very, very clearly to me. And I kept trying to force it. I kept trying to force it against what God was showing me. And all that did was give me more and more pain. And I think in trying to resist what God is already doing for you, it makes it feel so much worse. Because realistically, you're not stronger than God. God was going to separate that relationship no matter how hard I tried. And eventually I hit a point where I understood. And I heard God's word, and I heard him essentially tell me, there is no more control you have over the fate of this relationship. This is done. And at the same time, I was worried about trying to meet new people because I thought that I personally would not want someone that thinks about their ex as much as I was at the time. And I think when you think about the fact that when God closes one door, he's trying to open other doors, I thought that quote meant that he closed that door on that relationship to open doors for me to go find someone better right away. But what I didn't see is that it doesn't apply to just relationships that are doors that open. A door that opened for me after breaking up with that girl was seeking professional help to kind of undo the patterns that I had learned. And in doing that, I actually learned so much about myself, and I learned how to have the confidence to start content creating right here. And I felt the drive by God to start this as well. Now, I understand that the person that actually requested this video and a lot of my followers are not religious. And so I want to say, from a perspective without God, things that you can't control don't necessarily make sense. Before I started connecting with God, I believed that I could control my whole life, and the energy where I put my energy will be reciprocated to me. And I realized that oftentimes I'd find myself doing everything right by the textbook and still not really getting what I wanted out of it. And so I think without God, that can be such a confusing dilemma, because if without God, you think that you input and you get back. For example, I do X amount of hours of work, I get Y amount of hours or Y amount of dollars. But with God, sometimes you may put X amount and get zero, because God is trying to guide you somewhere else. Now, when this girl and I broke up, I felt so many more doors open for me, and not only with other relationships, but just doors to maybe build my friendship stronger, doors to connect better with my family, doors to learning about mental health, learning about my childhood struggles. And I think that's something that you can take away from a situation that you can't control, is saying, okay, I can't control this, now let me look around and see what I can control now. And I think oftentimes when someone breaks up with you, or when you're in a situation you can't control, you may do what I did and still continue trying to force it. And when you do that, you are missing out on investing in other opportunities. Now, that's a choice that you can make every single second. Every single second that you are conscious, you can say, am I going to continue worrying about this thing that I already know has been done? Or am I going to spend this second investing in maybe building something new, building on top of something that I've already started building onto? Or am I going to discover myself in a different way? Now, these experiences that you can't control, they actually shape you into who you're destined to be. So when you get these situations, you shouldn't look at them with rancor. You shouldn't hate these situations, but you should feel blessed, because they give you an opportunity to explore. They really give you an opportunity to not only explore different experiences outside, but also explore yourself and see things in yourself that you may never have seen before. I'm really thankful to have been requested this topic. I don't really talk about my past relationship that much, but I think it's very valuable to share my own experiences and share how God has helped me through those experiences. And if you're not religious, just seeing it from that perspective of the fact that there are better plans for you than the one you're trying to force that isn't working, it really just helps you see things in a different way and move forward instead of being stuck in the past situation. So I want to thank you guys a lot for watching, and thank you guys for the support you've been giving. I think I'm going to start uploading some more TikToks, so hope to get on that, and hope you guys enjoyed this content.